We all know the power of speaking things into existence. We see it all over social media and vision boards and journals. But isn't it so crazy how we forget about the importance of manifestation when it comes to these songs that we keep singing every day? I wanted to talk about this and bring some awareness to it because I think too many of us are not mindful of the things that we are speaking over and into our lives. And I want to make us realize that these are things that, even though we say them subconsciously, if we really look around us in society, we see that the lyrics of these songs are becoming our everyday lives. It's that serious. There are a few topics in particular that I want to cover today, and they are what you would call some of the more obvious ones. Today specifically, I want to talk about the toxic relationship traits, or really just horrible relationship cycles that we are normalizing in our music and that we have ultimately normalized in our everyday life. The first topic I want to cover today is the idea of returning to toxic relationship cycles, like going back to that relationship that we know is not good for us, that we know doesn't serve us well, and we keep just going back to it. And I'm sure that probably in your life or in the lives of people around you, if you really look at them, you can see that this is something that we have in fact normalized. The first thing I want to talk about today is Celine Dion's All Coming Back to Me Now. Let's look at some of the lyrics for this song. So the first verse said, "There are nights when the wind was so cold that my body froze in bed if I just listened to it right outside the window. There are days when the sun was so cruel that all the tears turned to dust and I just knew my eyes were drying up forever. I finished crying in the instant that you left, and I can't remember when or where or how, and I banished every memory you and I have ever made." So you see that this is a relationship that is in turmoil. Like, there's nothing great happening here. The relationship is attacking her like severe elements. She didn't mention any springtime or any nice times. It's only the bad. After she banished every memory that they have ever made, and she's like done with you now, she says, "But when you touch me like this and when you hold me like that, I just have to admit that it's all coming back to me." So all the memories that they made just by a simple touch, she has forgotten all the horrible things that she just said to us, and now everything good is all coming back to her. And the song goes on. It's just a cycle of this. See down here, she says, "There were moments of gold and there were flashes of light. There were things we'd never do again, but then they'd always seem right. There were nights of endless pleasure." Girl, she is stigmatized. She is stigmatized. And you can hear it in her voice too. Like, if you've ever listened to this song, I don't think this is the only cover. I think it might be the most popular though. I did some research on this song, and it says that the song was written by Jim Steinman and inspired by Wuthering Heights. The song was meant to capture the emotional high of returning to a love so intense it brings the dead back to life. That's fine. I don't need that. Stedman said he imagined Heathcliff digging up Kathy's corpse and dancing with it by moonlight, not in the book, but in his fantasy version. And that's what the song was going for, the ultimate obsessive, enslaving kind of love. Is it ever this deep? I don't think so. The thing is, and I think this is something that will be recurring for when women sing. Because of the delivery, sometimes we don't realize that the messaging is actually horrible because they sound so sweet. I mean, when Celine Dion sings this version, you can hear that it's a very dramatic and intense song. At the same time, you kind of get lost in the vocalization of it all, and you don't even realize that what's being said is not something nice at all. Let's talk about Love Galore. And you know what? I love this song. So for me to be ridiculing this song, it kind of is, it hurts me. SZA's name keeps coming up, and maybe I need to do a video on SZA herself, because it seems like SZA's catalog is full of all types of weird relationship toxicity. One of the things about this song too is that you get to hear the man's point of view, which is which is where the real toxicity comes in. Not to say that the whole thing isn't toxic, but so SZA starts the song saying that she's done with these niggas. She doesn't love them and she's dusting them off and she does it for fun. She's with them for fun. Don't take it personal. And then she says she's surprised that he called her after the things she said. Down here she says, "You're acting like we weren't more than a summer fling. I said farewell and you took it well." So she's like, she expected an uproar, but he was like, "Okay, fine, go. Promise I won't cry over spilled milk. Give me a paper towel, give me another volume." And that's another thing too, the drug use in these songs. But that's a topic for another day. Down a bit further, she says, "Why bother me when you know you don't want me, but you're going back every time? Why you bother me when you know you got a woman? Also, she's a side chick. Why you hitting me when you know better?" Does she mean hitting you like physically or hitting me like hitting me up? Kind of confused about that, but I guess we'll move on. Either way, it's toxic. And even though she's saying all these things, she still says, "Got me looking forward to weekends with you, baby." So even though she knows all of this, she still wants him. She's still going back. She still wants to be there. And then when we get down into Travis's part, I didn't get the lyrics for that, but I know it from my heart because, like I said, I love this song. He says, "Why are you bothering me? The last time I checked, you were the one who left. Ass and titties, the only thing that stuck with me. The only thing that I could feel. The only thing that was real. So why are you bothering me?" So all he wants from you is your body. And you are like up in your feelings, you're doing the most. He only wants your body. SZA even said when she was discussing like the meaning behind the song that it was about being addicted to people who are bad for you and loving someone even when it doesn't make sense. There is a difference in delivery between Celine and SZA. SZA's delivery is very much chill vibes. It's, if you're not listening carefully to what you're singing, you might not even realize that this is a song about toxic love, despair, being used by the person you love and trying to act like everything is cool, like you're actually hurt. But if you're not listening to the song, you might not realize that that's what's being said. The next topic I want to talk about is songs that display heavy emotional dependency. Let's look at Rihanna's Stay for a minute. It says, "All along it was a fever, a cold sweat, hot-headed believer. I threw my hands in the air and said, 'Show me something.' He said, 'If you dare come a little closer.' Then round and around and around and around we go." Like you can see it's toxic. He's saying, "Don't come near me." And she wants to be there. And then the second verse says, "It's not much of a life you're living," which is true. It's not just something you take, it's given. Just because you want it won't make it happen, right? But in this song, the dependency is real. You want him to stay, he's not interested, or you want them to stay, they're not interested. You can see the clear dependency here in the bridge where it says, "The reason I hold on to you is because I need this hole gone." So she's feeling something that she needs to replace with something else. The hole that she needs to fill shouldn't be filled with a man. That sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. I did some research on this song too, and it says that it was written by Mickey Echo and his real struggle to express vulnerable emotions. And he says that he hated writing songs like this because it came from such a raw place. While I say this, this is not me ridiculing the songs, because like I said, I sing them myself. Like I understand, but sometimes the words that we say, we really do need to reconsider what we're saying repeatedly over and over again and speaking into our lives unknowingly. So it's not to knock the art. I understand, as someone who wrote a lot, used to write a lot, and most of my writings did come from a place of hurt and pain and oh, my baby's home, an extreme emotion. I can understand writing from that place, but we still need to consider what we're speaking into our lives. 1 second. Right. So you can basically hear the desperation throughout the whole song. She's begging and pleading with somebody to stay with her. If you have to beg and plead, the person doesn't want to stay. So that's not somewhere you need to be. Let's take it back a few years to Denise Williams' Silly. My. Right off the bat, there was no warm up or anything. Silly of me to think that I could ever have you for my guy. How I love you. How I want you. Oh my gosh. Silly of me to think that you could ever really want me too. The next line is, oh, how I love you. What does it mean to be a lover out for score? I'm a little young. I don't know what that means. I know that I should be looking for more. What could it be in you I see? And then she's begging her lover not to make a fool of me. He definitely is already making a fool of you, and you're helping him do it. Silly of me to go around and brag about the love I found and say you're the best. I can't tell the rest. Why are you telling any of it? You shouldn't tell any of it if you know that it's like this. And foolish of me to tell them all that every night and day you call when you could care less. And we sing these songs, it sounds so good. I'm telling you, it sounds so good when you're singing it, but you're not realizing that these are the words that you're speaking into our lives. You're going through the song silly. It might sound harsh, but my intention with this video is not to like bash anybody. It's not to bash the singer or anybody who wrote the song or anybody who has experienced things like this. It's just to highlight that sometimes we say these things or speak or sing these things without even thinking about it, and then our lives start to reenact these very songs. Another song that I think highlights emotional dependency is the song Without You, and specifically the version by Mariah Carey. Listen to the lyrics in this. I can't forget this evening or your face as you were leaving, but I guess that's just the way the story goes. You always smile, but in your eyes, your sorrow shows. Then she says, I can't forget tomorrow when I think of all my sorrow when I had you there and then I let you go. And now it's only fair that I should let you know what you should know, which is I can't live if living is without you. I can't give anymore. The backstories are important. I did some research on this song too, and it was originally written by two rock musicians in the band Badfinger. Pete Ham and Tom Evans merged their heartbreak into one song, and tragically, both later ended up taking their own lives. Evans took his own life in a dispute over this very song's royalties. I'm not like trying to be like the spooky type, but that's kind of spooky if you ask me. So when we take that energy onto ourselves, the writing and the emotion, there were real emotions that went into writing these songs. And as we can see, they ended up playing out. If somebody was saying things like, I can't live, I don't want to live, if living means I have to live without you. Let me just pause 1 minute. Don't ever say any stupidness or believe any stupidness like that in your life. You can live without anybody. Give yourself some time and you will definitely overcome it. The feeling is intense right now because you're sitting in it, but after a while you'll realize that it was never that serious and you definitely can and will live without that person. And a lot of times when these things come up, we equate these intense emotions with true love. I don't think that's true love at all. Let's talk about the famous The Other Woman trope. There are so many songs that I can pull from for this specific trope. But today, I'm only using 3 songs. The first one I want to talk about is Jolene. Jolene, 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 Jolene. As we know the lyrics of this song, Jolene, I'm begging you, please don't take my man. Don't take him just because you can. Jolene is, I think, the original Coming to You as a Woman song. And notice throughout the song, I don't remember a single lyric where she was upset with her man. There's even a line in the song where she says, my happiness depends on you. Hello? No, it does not. The crazy thing is that this song was inspired by real life events. It says that it was inspired by a real red-headed bank teller who flirted with Dolly's husband in real life. Dolly said she wasn't threatened. Liar, liar, pants on fire, Dolly. She just used the moment as inspiration, and it turned into one of the most iconic songs of her career. That's the other woman trope from the wife's point of view. If the wife was somebody who was a bit insecure, let's now talk about Lana Del Rey's version of The Other Woman. This song blew up on TikTok. It's just such a soft song. The other woman went down into the lyrics for The Other Woman. It's really a situation where the other woman is realizing that she is not in a better place than the wife. It says she has time to manicure her nails. She's perfect where her rival fails. She's never seen in pin curls. He finds her waiting like a lonesome queen. The other woman will always cry herself to sleep. She will never have his love to keep. And as the years go by, the other woman will spend her life alone. Which, if you want to live and die as a side chick, that's really the reality of what your life will be. It was originally written by a black songwriter, Jessie Mae Robinson, and it was made iconic by Nina Simone. Nina Simone's version was raw, detached, and mournful, and it shows the real loneliness of being a mistress. And it really is lonely. The original was never meant to be as glamorous as Lana Del Rey's so polished and soft version is presenting to be. It shows the real pain and hurt and reality of subjecting yourself to being someone's side piece. Now let's talk about the original side chick. Should I call it side chick? Because we don't know who is a side chick up to now. The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica. I'm not even going to go through the lyrics of this song. I'm not saying a word. We know what's up with this song. Must you do the things you do? Keep on acting like a fool. That song was like the ultimate showdown over a man who was clearly he wasn't worth either of their time. And here they were fighting over this man. This song spent 13 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts. So this song ultimately ends with them both confronting him for his treacherous ways, and none of them chose him. But what people take away from that song is not the visuals, it's what they hear. It's the competition between the two women. And we cannot say that we don't see this constantly showing up throughout our lives. 2 or more women like fighting against each other because of a man and trying to still be number 1 in his life. So the last topic I want to focus on, and one that I think is the most important of all, is romanticized rage. There are so many songs that make it seem like acting out in a violent way because of heartbreak is a normal thing. Let's start subtle. Let's start with Jasmine Sullivan's Bust Your Windows. Do we remember when that song came out? Like, I remember, like, this is a song I think that, again, I don't need to like talk about the lyrics because it is so wide. Like, we know what we're singing. The first line is, I bust the windows out your car. We know what that is. That's not joy. But let me still read it though. It says, it didn't mend my broken heart. I'll probably always have these ugly scars, but right now I don't care about that part. Blind rage. Jasmine Sullivan, when talking about this song, said, it's something that needed to be said and I was a chick to do it. Like, this is just something that happens all the time. I'm just talking about it, but it happens all the time. This is not something that should be happening all the time. Vandalizing, destroying people's property because you're angry. That's never the right thing to do. When we listen to the song though, we can see that it's something that's meant to be dramatic. Listen to the orchestra in the beginning. It's powerful. It embodies the feeling behind the emotion behind the song. Some people might even see this as an empowering song, like you're taking back the power from somebody who hurt you. And that's not the case here. You're catching a case. You're getting a fine. As somebody who watches a lot of Judge Judy, People's Court, all of the court shows, like, we see this all the time. even in the news, like we don't have to go as far as court cases. We can look at the news. People do these things all the time. We have normalized it to the point where when we see these headlines, it's nothing. Like we kind of give it a pass because of the events that led up to it happening, but it's toxic just the same. And now let's talk about Scissor's Kill Bill, because you know what? I think this is a song that really started this What I Want to Be a series, because I think this is a song that really cemented it for me that we are kind of getting out of pocket with these songs. Are we not realizing what we're saying, or we just don't care? Because how are we romanticizing a song about offing your ex? The moment I heard that song's chorus, for me to just go somewhere and be like clicking Kill Bill in my playlist, never gonna happen. She says she might kill her ex, not the best idea. His new girlfriend is next. How'd she get here? She might kill her ex. She still loves him though. She'd rather be in jail than alone. Hello? You hear? Did you hear that? She'd rather be in jail than to live without this man. And that's what we're singing. I think not. Scissor's music, I could do a whole series on Scissor because she has a lot of toxic stuff. The mask of the presentation of the songs, I think, blinds us to what she's actually saying in a lot of cases. It's not like we don't know that these topics are very much taboo and should not be celebrated, because I want us to contrast this song, Kill Bill, with Eminem's Kim. Do we know Eminem's Kim? Because when I was in high school, I used to bump that song. I did not at the time realize that that music, like the words that we say, we need to be very mindful of it. I thought it was just because his ex-wife is clearly still alive. So I'm saying he clearly didn't mean it. Why are you taking it that seriously? It's that serious. Now that I'm older, I realize it's actually that serious. And I don't sing that song anymore. Let's talk about Kill Bill versus Kim. The lyrics of Kim are very horrible. Like, he is literally describing how he would off his wife and also the man that she is now with. I think he was included in the song, which is essentially the very same thing that she's saying here. Maybe she didn't describe it fully like he did and like list the steps, but let's see how society reacted to both of these songs. The song Kim was banned from radio. Nobody was playing that song. Banned totally, which is why a lot of people might not even know it. Scissor's Kill Bill became a viral TikTok sound and went to #1 on the charts. The outrage that people had for Kim was definitely not shared for the song Kill Bill. Why is that so? Why do we think that's so? I don't want to make it like a gender thing, but I think that's something that should be considered. People find women a lot less threatening than they do find men, and they think that it's just, for women, it's just an emotional outburst that won't be actioned. Again, we see time and time again that women have, in fact, done things like this just as men do, maybe at a lesser degree, but it's done. That's one factor. The way the songs are presented also, I think, has a lot to do with it. So Scissor's song, her style of singing is very soft. It's very smooth. You know, if you're not listening properly again to what she's saying, you might get lost in the vocalization of it all. While Eminem was very raw, very emotional, screaming, like it was not packaged in a cutesy way. And I think the packaging of the song, both with the packaging in how it was delivered, the packaging with who delivered it also, was something that probably influenced how the song was perceived by society. I think the morals of society have fallen, and that's something that also caused this song to be able to thrive as much as it did. Either way, the two songs have the very same messaging and they'll be treated the same way by me. I'm not listening to either of them. All of this is just a long winded way to say words are powerful. And we really, really need to be much more mindful of the words we speak into and over our lives, especially if it's wrapped up in music where we sing it over and over and over and over again. For each one of these tropes that I mentioned, if we look in news around our society, we can identify people who have lived through each of these tropes, which means it's not just words. They're coming from somewhere. It's coming from somebody's experience. And the scary part is we don't even notice these things that we're singing into our lives. We don't even notice that we're actually speaking things over our lives when we sing these songs. Can you imagine that we might have been over all these years manifesting horrible relationship patterns without even realizing that that's what we're doing? The things that we consume shape our reality. They help to contribute to the standards we have. And in this case, they can become our language for love. So I think that it's time that we become more mindful, at least a little bit more mindful about what we put into our playlist, because that's what we're putting into our minds and that's what we're getting out of our lives. Which of these songs hit different after hearing the stories about them, after really analyzing these lyrics? Which songs do you think that you'll be putting down? What other toxic things or toxic themes in songs do you think that we should analyze next? Thank you so much for watching. If you got to this far, that means you kind of like what you're getting here. So I would urge you to subscribe. My birthday is in July 27th to be exact. And my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the time that date comes around. So I would love if you would consider clicking subscribe. If you need to watch a few more videos to see if you like the vibe, there are so many videos on here. And my aim is to post 3 times a week this month. So support your girl. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.